Hello. Uh, this is going to be a kind of a more elaborate description and description of my build and the items that I use and the various possibilities that it's capable of utilizing. Alright, so first of all, this build is a dual range attack totem, tornado shot, Deadeye. Deadeye because of the +1 chain. You're getting that chain twice because you're using, well, you're getting it 3 times. You get 2 totems. Each of those totems will chain, and then you have a frenzy. This is not optimal. The empower and life gain on hit. I just corrupted this in a weird state for some reason. But what you do is you have range attack totem support, which I still need to fail, surprisingly, this late in the league. Alright, rip. Doesn't really matter at this point. Range attack totem, tornado shot, which I luckily did get 21, with added chaos, void manipulation. Pierce can be anything you want. Slower projectiles. Pierce could be faster attacks. Pierce could be increased item quantity, which I would use if I had. My tooltip DPS goes from, this is without auras or anything, goes from 9k to 11.5 with Pierce. You can use faster attacks, you know, whatever. You got options. But the point is to use Cosprey's Will coupled with Curse on Hit gloves, and right now I'm geared completely to be MF based, item quantity based. I got the Biscos, I've got this God tier vintage that I got in the first week of this league, Legacy League. I divined it once and hit that. It was like the most glorious moment. This one I bought maybe like a day or two later for like an X, maybe 2x, I'm not sure. Note the reduced rarity kind of balances out here, but the important thing is that I get all my resists right here and right here, with a little picked up as well in these 2 items. Curse on hit Sedemas, pretty standard. You can, I mean, if you don't have the legacy, that's fine. You can get really cheap Sedemas 16 quantity with a curse on hit, temp chains on hit. I also have the legacy goldworm with a decent enchant. Sometimes you'll swap those out for, say, 7 league step, just because the movement speed, like this build clears fast enough that if you can just run between packs faster, you'll just clear a lot faster and probably see a lot more loot, depending upon how you play and what you're looking for regarding your loot. Besides that, the most expensive piece is probably, I mean, like, these are expensive probably. At this point in the league, they were cheaper earlier in the league. Like, I think I spent like 30 chaos to get this. And this one I bought much later. It's not central to the build. You can get like cheaper 16 quantity. But besides that, everything's pretty cheap. This is pretty hard to get early in the league, but you can run any bow, frankly. You might have to make some adjustments. Instead of, say, having void manipulation and pierce, you'd take like greater multiple projectiles or something, and maybe take pierce off for greater multiple projectiles instead. Or similarly, you don't have to have the Cosprey's Will. You can just use a poison gem if you don't have the setup that you want or the endgame setup that you're looking for. And just to demonstrate real quick, let's see, I've got another 6-link chest somewhere that I can just swap in. Let's see, is everything corrupt here? Corrupt. Okay, so I can just throw this on. This is just to demonstrate the tooltip DPS with poison instead of pierce, which I probably just could have swapped in. I made a mistake. Alright, so this will be like an item quantity chest piece. Let's see. I know I've got something. Alright, forget that. I'll just take pierce out and swap poison in to show you the difference in tooltip. You already saw it was like 9,000 without. So, you'll still have fantastic clear speed without the Cosprey's, but the Cosprey's is just a huge quality of life improvement for me. I really like it. But the cool thing is, like, you don't need 2 6-links either. 1 6-link for your main skill setup, which is this ideally. But until recently, I had been using my curse on hit setup here, so I would take Frenzy, curse on hit, power charge on crit, and I was using vulnerability. Currently I'm using projectile weakness because of the color setup that I have. And that's your Frenzy setup. And your Frenzy damage, it's not fantastic. Just put this back in. With your auras up, it adds quite a significant amount of damage to both your... So, this is 27,000, whatever. This is 9,000 on top. Keep in mind you're stacking poison here and here as long as you're using a Cosprey setup. And you can use much more aggressive rune or jewels, like you can use attack speed and pierce or whatever to get your damage even higher. Or you can forego that and you put your entire setup in your bow, and you can definitely use something like Calm's Heart or Belly the Beast, and instead of going item quantity, you can, you know, completely transform your build into a life-based build pretty easily. So like, these are really great. I picked up a couple really nice Fangjaw talismans this league. Don't know where my other one is. It's probably on an alt. But 12% life on top of the tier 1 life roll and nice stats to boot. I got that pretty early, and I think I spent way too little for it, like something like 50 chaos, maybe even less. But like this alone, right now, as you see, I'm glass cannon as all hell, 3,477 hit points. Well, this alone puts me up to 3,800, which is not that impressive. I can show you where you can get some more health. I don't have health here, here, or here. Anyway, long story short, I've messed around with this build quite a lot. If you want, you can get health on your helmet, you can get health on your boots, you can health on your gloves, chest. You know, there's plenty of places to make up health. I've gotten it, like, say, sometimes I'll run the gull. I have a gull somewhere. Alright, so I have another gull with secondary tornado shots as well. And this can be really nice if you're trying to go for health as well. But you can get up to like 5-6k pretty easily without too much of an investment. I always keep these on so you can even get more health that way if you're getting resists on your boots and glove slot. What's really neat about this build is, like, unlike other totem builds with Ancestral Bond, your other skills still do damage. So like I was saying, you're still stacking Frenzy, Poison, and so forth when you're autoing with Frenzy. You try to get Frenzy charges up with this, Frenzy and Power Charge. That's why I've got life gain on hits, so if I run into Reflect mobs, I'm feeling a little better about that. You don't even need the Frenzy charges necessarily. You can run this build without it, but it clears a lot faster when you've got the full Frenzy stacks going. Let's see, what else? Your other options. You've got different chess pieces that you can mess around with. I do have a +1 Calm's Heart. I have a 6-link belly and the 2-week turmoil. I'm looking for... what's it called? Armor. There we are. This is not a really great choice. Unless you're really hurting for some life leech, I guess? I don't know. But the chaos damage doesn't really do a lot for you. I could demonstrate that because these are the correct colors at the moment. So here's my DPS right now, 13.9. You can see what... keep in mind, well, you'd have to take out Pierce for poison, so I'll do that. Your other option is, and this is a 13 quality because I suck at veiling apparently, so your DPS becomes 11,008. Get a bit more health, And as you see, that's all cumulatively stacking. I've got some other gloves. These are pretty well-rolled gloves that I switch to if I am trying to survive. And you get the picture. Eventually, you'll start to show a lot more health. I've got 4,400, and I'm still missing several nodes. My DPS is going to be all right yet, 13,700. I get a big boost here with the attack speed and lightning damage. But yeah, so you see, like, it's pretty easy to finagle different survivability gear into the build. But I'm gonna go back to the way I was set up and just kind of do a short little demonstration of the gameplay. I would say when you're leveling, the most important thing to do, well, I always take split arrow, leveling up, and then I just, you know, level up tornado shot as soon as I get it. I don't necessarily switch right away because you don't have the quality of life of having extra projectiles on all your gear, like projectiles. You don't have all this stuff early, so you use split arrow. You can use just a standard tornado shot skill tree while you're leveling up. Obviously, you forego like Veil Pact and all the leech nodes because totems don't leech for you without that goofy shield. You take crit nodes. Get some really nice jewels in there. I know, Korean advice, right? These are some really nice jewels, though. I'm very fond of these jewels. Yeah, you'll have to get some stats. Currently I've got Wisdom of the Glade and this for my intelligence needs. Here's a little extra strength as well. You take the frenzy charges and crit, basically. You don't need deadly draw here. So I think I spec'd into it just to kind of play around with it to see if I liked it. You'll probably take it all. You'll likewise don't need phase acro and all these improvements here. I think the reason I'm running this is because I'm currently, not exactly currently, but okay, currently I have less than 3,500 health, so that extra evasion and dodge chance actually pays dividends. I'll put this all away. Where was that? Alright. As you see, I'm a bit of a hoarder. I won't do anything fancy. I'll just show you like what this build would look like on, let's say, this isn't too fancy. This is without, oh, this has sextants. I better pick something else. So I'll just run like a rare strand without any sextants, as you see. Without any sextants or legacy stones, or league stones. So yeah,
I'm not up to that just yet.
You'll see how the DPS looks. Currently it's, oh, this is an enfeeble map? Okay, so 7,500. But once you get the frenzy charges up, that number, frenzy charges, and obviously you'll want a diamond flask. Taste of Hate was lucky for me, 14k, so it like doubles your DPS once you get the flasks and charges up. I've heard some discussion about how, actually, and I know this is like uncommon, most people generally accept that quantity is much greater than rarity, but I've heard people argue otherwise, and I think those people are silly. Quantity is everything. You drop currency more, you drop 6 sockets more, you know, it's like the stuff that matters when you're nickel and diming through a league before you start making some real bank. So you see, it's like a really casual, like, I can also show you that how superfluous all these extra charges are. I just won't use them for a second. And this is just to demonstrate the build doesn't need all the damage that you have. Alright, they're gone now. And it can still run just fine. Like, keep in mind, like, I've got 6 nodes currently invested in frenzy charges. You don't really need them. It helps, but you don't need them. A Gut Ripper. And so, that said, that it makes it even easier if you want to stack health to just throw a lot more investment into your life pool. Easily get up to 6,000 if you're really trying. I use this build primarily for map farming, rarity, MF farming. But it is capable of doing the Guardians. I haven't done Shaper with it. I don't know if I'll ever try. There's really no reason for me to try. I guess I could just to prove that I can, but I think there are better builds for the endgame content. I don't like run the Guardians as a rule. I'd rather sell those maps and just keep on trucking this way. So yeah, you get an idea. It's pretty easy once you get it going. This is, again, I'm just trying to demonstrate how it clears without charges up. The bosses would be down in like 5 seconds if I was also stacking poison with my frenzy and keeping my charges up. So yeah, it's a pretty neat build. I've been using this build since Perandus, back when the Reach of the Council was brand new, and oh my goodness, if you have a legacy Reach of the Council from a reliquary turn-in, by all means, just try this build sometime. It really trucks. Once you get those extra arrows, 5 arrows in that bow, and just better attack speed, you don't even have to necessarily go as hard into the crit, because you don't have such a nice base for it. That 150 multiplier would be missed, but the clear speed goes through the roof. I think your attack speed is closer to like 1.5 per second without any other gems and items. So yeah, these are cheap. This is like the bread and butter of your entire build right here. Like I said, you don't need Cosprey's Will with Curse on hit setup. It's really nice quality of life to have 2 curses. I use Temp Chains, obviously, and Projectile Weakness. But you could get Curse on hit gloves, for instance, and run a full DPS Frenzy setup here. You could use Veil Pact if you really want to. You're not very far away from doing that. And yeah, it's a very versatile build. Like, the whole... Like, honestly, I don't know why more people don't use Skirmish. I think it's actually busted. It doesn't have the drawback of Ancestral Bond, and... you know, it doubles your projectiles. So you got extra projectiles here, extra projectiles. Now double that, and you start to really see, with the chain as well, you start to really see things disappear. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything I'm forgetting in terms of strategy. What I would normally do, at the beginning of a league, I'll actually take like damage nodes, either attack speed or physical projectile. So I'll go this route and come down, probably, well, actually I might not come down yet. I'd probably come over here and then grab some of these nodes. Doesn't matter which way you go. You could go this way first, you could go this way first. I guess, let's see, there's probably more health nodes down this way. Like you get health. So if you'd rather do that, King of the Hill is also something to rush. It's actually a pretty nice quality of life improvement. You can also spend 2 points to go point blank, and it is a significant upgrade. Like if I weren't spec'd into phase acro here with all these extra acrobatics nodes, I would definitely be taking point blank. And I might take this thing off and grab these 2 nodes because they're just better. They're more efficient. But like I said, I'm always just trying to mess around with this build and see if I can improve it in some way or another. I got it the way I like it right now. You could also take Sniper here for some extra DPS. These are really strong nodes for you because you are physical in chaos. That'll change in 3.0. I'm curious how this build will translate it as into an elemental build. I'll be interested, and I'll probably be trying that out in the upcoming changes. Since you're already coming down here, well, you'll grab these crit anyway, even if you're going elemental, I suspect, because that's a really strong node right there. Critical strike chance 50% with 40 multiplier. So if you're already coming down here, it's really easy to come in and grab these elemental nodes as well. I got some other elemental nodes. Wait, where are they? You can come here if you're going to go for point blank as well. So it's not like the nodes won't be accessible if you go elemental. I just don't know how strong the build will be without the double dipping. But yeah, I guess that's all I want to say. Anyway, happy hunting.